All right, guys. Target flying up right now. I'm holding Target. Looks great. We're gonna have to cover what the earnings just showed up as for it, but so far another really nice green day in my equities portfolio. SPY sitting SPY sitting at over 450s right now. Target ripping up to 122s. Get some music playing here. Target just boosted 210 EPS versus 148 expectation. Revenue of 25 billion versus 25.24 billion expected. SSS is minus 4.9%. They expected minus 5.25%. So better than expected in that regard. And Target is flying up. I'll probably end up taking some profit here on Target because I can. And it's up so much, I might as well, right? Oh, it's too early to take profit in Target. Okay. All good. Where's Tesla at today? Tesla up again today. Yeah, I thought Target might come in good. I'm gonna do a poll. Does today's PPI report continue this latest market run? Yes or no? Vote on that poll. Let me know what you guys think. Historic run in markets, honestly. Here's Target ripping up. So we got PPI inflation data. We also have retail sales data coming out. I'm scared Tesla will crash as soon as I buy calls. Maybe. Yeah, I'm in Target right now. My average price on Target currently is 107.50s. So my average price on Target's 107.50s. Is now at 122s, basically hit 123s. Nasdaq's pushing up a lot. The SPY over 450s, which is a great sign. Of course, like the SPY being over 450s is a great sign. Um, let's see if it continues. Hit that like button, guys. Caught me early this morning. Oh, it might be my mic. Hold on, let me switch my mics. Thank you for that update. Yeah, it's my mic. All right, guys. Again, Target's still testing highs up there.
Again, I'm looking at Target numbers. It looks like they missed revenue. Let me see. Okay, so I do see. Okay, they guided much better, is what it was. Target sees fourth quarter adjusted EPS of 260 versus 224. Comparable sales, mid-single digit decline. They're going to offer 10,000 new items for the holiday season, including thousands under $25 in many Target exclusives. And so, yeah, Target's loving this report, flying up almost over 123s. Again, my average price on Target currently is at 107.50. All right, team. Target breaking highs again, almost up to 124. Again, I'm going to put a timer up. Again, PPI inflation data and retail sales. And Target's earnings are very relevant for retail sales, too. I got to change this time. Okay. Target still breaking highs up to 124s. SPY ripping up over highs. NASDAQ flying up. NASDAQ hit almost 16,000 this morning. Still got a little ways from it, but moving up towards 16,000. Yeah, I've been long on a lot of different stuff, but they're mostly investments. Citigroup been pushing up. Chewy is up. So yeah, Target is the really big thing. Honestly, lovely trade right now. I'm up almost 300 in equities on this, mostly this Target run. I almost sold a little bit like 10 minutes ago, but I'm still sitting in it because I can't sell yet. Stairs down, the elevator up. Maybe, you know. But I also think people can't be too rigid on direction. I think a lot of people predicted crashes. I saw a post today that talked about Michael Burry finally coming out. I had so many people that told me Michael Burry made money on these shorts, right? So many people told me Burry made money on these shorts, and there's a lot of crickets nowadays because Burry just posted this morning that he's down 40% on his short positions. 40% on his short positions. He closes those short positions at a 1.6 or he closes that $1.6 billion bet with a 40% loss. 40% loss, which is crazy, you know. I had so many people tell me he made money. So many people tried to bring this up as some type of, you know, shot to me, like Burry just made all these riches and rode off into the sunset. When you actually look at this here, again, look at this. When you actually look at this, Burry is down a lot. He finally sold, and he lost 40%. And so again, reports are showing about 40% loss on that. Again, I don't know if it's true. That's what I'm seeing floating around on the interwebs. But again, I told people, like, you know, Burry telling everybody to sell, telling everybody. Again, Burry is tricking retail traders into missing out on bull runs like we've had. You know, like this year is absolutely a bull run. This year is absolutely a bounce back year. And it's not arguable. It's not something in which people can even argue it anymore. It's something that's very obvious. It has played out regardless of what people's predictions were. And again, maybe we turn around, maybe we pull back now. It's certainly possible. I'm definitely not saying it is. But yeah. But yeah. Yeah, so again, Burry supposedly lost. All right. Put a GIF up here. Feels good, honestly. And of course, you love to see it. Yeah, Target flying up over 126s for a split second. And we're riding it up too. Yeah, we might be due for a pullback. Yeah, we covered Target. Target up to 126s right now. We're in Target right now. Average price is 107.50. Look, here's my average price if you guys don't believe me. It's literally exactly 107.50. Here. That's my average price. 107.50 on Target. You love to see it. We'll see if we keep it up. The volume doesn't justify the run up on Target. I mean, listen, guys. Like, you have to understand something here, man. Like, you really have to think about these type of things objectively, okay? Like, use your head with this. Like, right, this is what I'm trying to do with these positions, is I'm trying to use my head and be smart. Like, a lot of people get wrapped up in politics and trading. You know, I never have been a person to do that. Never been one to get wrapped up in politics and trading. The reason for that is because it makes you too rigid. Like, it really makes you too rigid with individual stocks. Like, regardless of any controversy Target has, regardless of anything, and I'm not going to go into it. You guys know, which one I'm referencing, right? But regardless of any controversy they have, when you go to Target, is it busy or is it empty? When I go there, it's freaking busy. There's a lot of people there all the time. It's very packed. People are still buying stuff. Their margins have got to be great because it is expensive, and people go there. It's like a big store. They buy clothes, they buy all these different things, and Target makes a lot of money, so like regardless of whatever controversy, Target's not empty right now, so like when Target has these huge pullbacks over the last few years, I'm buying the dip. I don't know what the PE ratio is. I remember I looked at it when I got into this trade, because before I enter any investment trade, I typically always figure out what the PE ratio is. And for Target, it's 15. 15. You want to know why I bought Target? Because it has a 15 PE ratio. It makes a lot of money relative to its price, is what PE ratio means. In this regard, a low PE ratio means it makes more money relative to its price. And that is why I bought it. Again, my average price is 107s. It is now at 128. So you love to see it. This is one of those stocks I was kind of a broken record about. And hey, you love to see it. Right, Andre, 100%, dude. Again, people getting wrapped up in politics. It's not a healthy way to trade stocks. Again, I'm going to say it again. Michael Burry supposedly lost 40% on his shorts from earlier this year. So many people tried to use this against me for being bullish. They tried to make fun of me for being bullish. And Burry's making all this money. The market dropped over the last 2 months. Now all I hear is crickets. I'm not saying you can't be bearish, but I'm going to brag a little bit. That's just kind of what I do here. Well, every big retail store like that has a thief problem. That's just normal. Again, they have a PE ratio of 15. And so that's all that you need to really say. I'm not, again, I don't get into politics. I know they have a PE ratio of 15, which means, which obviously means they make a lot of money relative to their share price. Their earnings, their EPS is much higher. Their yearly EPS outperforms relative to their share price is what that means. And again, so Target coming in hot today with earnings. Good guidance. They expected 224 EPS for the fourth quarter in guidance. They ended up showing 260. That's why they're up so much. It's good guidance as well. %10 of U.S. home sellers are former remote workers who are being called back into the office, according to Redfin. Okay, interesting, man. That's an interesting data release. Again, supposedly 10% of the U.S. house sellers are former remote workers who are being called back into the office. So what do they mean by that? They mean that like 10% of people selling homes are doing so because they have to move to another area, because previously they were allowed to work remotely, and so they lived in a specific area, kind of probably far away from their current employment, and now they're being called back into the office, so they have to sell the said home and move back closer to their employer. 10% is what Redfin supposedly says are, is the root cause of those sellers. So interesting. Again, I'm just waiting for the 6 a.m. bell to hit so I can take some profit on Target. I see a lot of people calling for manipulation because the market's pushed up so much. Again, man, most people are just upset. Yeah, dude, the market ripped up on. I saw my Tesla at 240. Did I make a mistake? I have no idea. I don't know what Tesla's going to do, brother. No idea what you should do in that regard. Oh, Tesla at 240s right now. Again, I held mine. My average price is 205s. I held it because I thought we might get a run up heading into when they start selling the Cybertruck on the 30th. S&P 500 is now up 8% since Morgan Stanley CIO Mike Wilson said there would be no year-end rally on October 30th. You know what I mean? This is my point, guys, and I want you guys to truly understand what I'm trying to say here. Like, again, the problem is that nobody listens, man. Like, I'm telling you guys what the banks do. The banks put out a bunch of... I've seen it happen. I've been watching. Think about my unique perspective of markets, in which I watch the market every day. I look at the market literally every weekday for year on year now, without fail. Unless something crazy is happening, I'm at least looking at the market slightly throughout the day. Most of the time, I'm looking at the market for hours and hours and hours every morning. And that's just a normal thing in my life, right? I see it happen, okay? I see what happens. Banks and other medias put out, for lack of a better word, propaganda, okay? Telling you the market is going to crash, the market is going to fall, right? Then they load up on positions and they take the other direction, and they leave retail traders who are more easily, more gullible, more easily manipulated. They leave them sitting there scared, so they're not buying, and then the market runs. And then they do the other thing on the opposing side as well. Bar Chart posted this today, right? And basically, this is Morgan Stanley analyst Mike Wilson. He's the CIO of Morgan Stanley. on October 30th down here. Again, what did he say? He said, oh, there's not going to be any year-end rally. You know, again, who do you think missed out on this? Retail did. Who do you think made money on this move? The banks did. Okay, it's very obvious. Look, same thing. SPX could plunge 25%. Big bounce back up. I was wrong. Drop. Like you could literally inverse this guy. People talk about Kramer. You could literally inverse this Morgan Stanley guy. And so again, do you think that he just doesn't know what he's talking about, or that the market is just, too crazy? Of course not. He knows. In my opinion, the banks know. They're the ones that are capitalizing on this type of move. And so you got to read between the lines, I think, a little bit in trading, for sure. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take some off of Target. Look at AMD. I'm watching Nvidia right now as well. Let me unload half of the position. Out. All right. I'll even load a little bit more, I think. All right. Where's Nvidia at right now? Nvidia over 500. Looks great. It's ultimately what's dragging this market up. And retail looks good right now, too. Beautiful day for my equities positions. Tesla's starting to finally get a run. What's crazy is that I left 2 shares of Netflix like a couple months ago, or like a couple weeks ago. I don't remember when it was. I left 2 shares. People always try to trade penny stocks. Like, you try to day trade penny stocks, even if you're trading regular stocks and you're just swing trading them. I left 2 shares of Netflix. Literally 2. Dose. You know what I mean? And I'm up $140. I'm going to take a little bit off. I'm going to take half of it. Might as well. Again, I'm up a lot on a very small trade. I might as well capitalize on it. And then maybe we'll wait for Netflix to dip and rebuy back in at a later time. Google. We stayed in Google even though it had the big drop. Looks like it was the right move. I'll probably just sit in that one. Apple still surging up. The only one I'm honestly thinking about cutting is AMC. Like, I'm in AMC. It doesn't look good. It's got a huge following. I think it's going to file for bankruptcy eventually, though, to be honest. Like, this latest offering looked pretty desperate. And so my worry is that it's going to file for bankruptcy. That's my worry. Yeah, I mean, again, people get so rigid with bearish predictions, but you have to understand, and they tend to take bank words and bank statements as like truth, but I don't think you can do that. I think the banks are like, sometimes it's not in their best interest to tell people the truth. You know what I mean? And like, you have to read between the lines, and you can't really knock them for it. If you had all this insider information, are you going to tell everybody? Probably not. That might influence whether it works. This is true. Like, if you had a great trading system, are you going to tell everybody about it? If you're in my shoes and you got this, maybe. But like, most people know. Most people are not. Most people are going to keep it to themselves because that might affect if it works. So just be smart. Don't get so locked in politics and direction. Is the easiest way to put it. Like, regardless of how you feel about the U.S., regardless of what you think is going to happen, be fluid. Don't be rigid. Understand anything can freaking happen. All right. See, we already got about 300 people here. Slap that like button, team, if you haven't already. Yeah, bow. I mean, listen, bro. Hold on. Again, it's not about just buy anything and everything, brother. That's not what this is. What it is about, though, hold on. It's about understanding the nature of the market. It's about understanding the nature of the market. And again, you can have whatever type of bearish prediction you want. in the end, the market is going to go up long term, like without question. The market's not going to fall forever. Again, I've given these stats before, and I think you might want to listen to them, Val. And again, it's all good, bro. It's all good. As long as you're respectful, you can have whatever opinion you want here, man. But there's only been 3 times in the history of the market that the market has trended in a bearish way that has ended red multiple years in a row. Only 3 instances of that. Only 3 times in history has that ever happened historically, in history historically, only 3 times. Okay, so it's incredibly, incredibly rare. It does not happen every few years, like you might think it does. All right, and when you look at the SPY is not, the market's not breaking highs and looking extended. Like the last time we were anywhere close to the highs was 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's not like we're just kind of pushing up, breaking highs every day, looking strong. Like, we're still a decent amount away from the highs right now. Again, we haven't been anywhere close to them in 2 years, and we're not going to drop forever. And the natural state of the market is that it's going to go up over time. Like, it's not really something that you can bet against. And if you are betting against the market going up over time, again, that's a very silly bet, because again, history has shown that it's going to go up. One of the main reasons is because our dollar devalues, and so the price has to go up over time, because you need more money to buy stuff. So stocks are going to have better earnings, and with that, S&P is going to go up and all that stuff. That's a very obvious thing. So again, I guess the point is, like, you can bet on a crash, and maybe we do crash. Okay, but you also have to understand that if we haven't been anywhere near the highs in years, and the market starts to push up, it's not because it's super extended or nonsensical. It's probably because the natural state of it is it's going to go up over time. It gives you about 10% on average yearly. Not every year, but on average each year, which means that on good years like this, it's going to push up much more than 10%. And that's what we're seeing right now in markets. That's what it looks like right now. And so I hear a lot of people saying it's nonsensical. This doesn't make sense. It really does, to be honest. And again, maybe next year we'll correct a little bit. I think typically Santa rallies are pretty reliable. They don't happen every year, but, I bet on them more times than I don't. Here's the cue. NASDAQ testing highs as well. And again, tell me the truth, guys. Have I not been saying this? How long have I been saying this? Again, who ended up being correct? People made fun of me and said, oh, he is a beginner trader. Whatever. Who was right? You're welcome, I'm going to make my catchphrase, we don't have to crash. Because time has shown that we don't. And you better believe I'm going to joke about it, because I've been right. Nvidia lost 40% on Nvidia lost 40%. Again, I talked about this earlier too, but I don't know how many people tried to talk about Burry's trade as a shot against my bullish predictions. And again, Burry supposedly lost around 40% from his shorts earlier this year, and people would say, oh, well, Burry, how's Burry's trades doing, John? Now all I hear is crickets. You love to see it. Sorry, I got to troll you guys a little bit. It's all in good fun. It's all good. As long as we're all respectful, it's all good. Right, exactly, Jim. 100%. And again, I think that's what a lot of people miss, and I think people get wrapped up in direction predictions and all that good stuff. But again, I think you have to understand, like, if you find yourself betting against the market long term, that is an incredibly silly bet. And you have to understand the real nature of markets, which is that they're going to go up over time. Again, I'm going to say it again. The main reason being the dollar is devalued. You need to make more to get more. As time goes on, it's one of the reasons houses now are, average home is what, 300K right now, 250K. 20, 30 years ago, it was like what, 50, 100K, something like that. you have, as time goes on, you have to make more to spend more, and that's what it is. And you want to look at that objectively. You need to understand that, and understand that, like, the more you zoom out, the more likely the market's going to go up. The more you zoom in, the less given any direction movement is. And again, I'll agree that right now, I think we're probably pretty extended on the upside. I think we've pushed up a lot, short term. But I'm not talking to people predicting short-term pullbacks. I'm talking to people that are predicting that the market's just going to crash. And we've had a lot of them here. So I hope, and again, my guess is that a lot of them are going to get mad at me instead of acknowledging that we haven't crashed. Maybe not. I hope not. Yesterday, almost $740 billion was added to the market. Apple up 1.5%, Microsoft up 1%, Amazon was one of the better performing stocks. Again, retail and products are doing really well. Amazon almost up to 150s. Target's still surging up, almost to 128s. Nine countdown sell signal on TD Ameritrade, sequential though. Guess that doesn't matter. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Trans, to be honest. All right, look at the Q breaking highs again up to 388, all in the last couple of minutes. Yeah, so man, I'm going to say this on Twitter. Again, I'm going to restate what I've said a bunch of times already. But if you find yourself betting against the financial markets long term, you are in a very silly bet. The more you zoom out, the more bullish the charts are going to be. The more you zoom in, the less predictable the direction is. Okay, this is investing 101. Should be a very obvious and self-evident thing. All right, so we're going to post that. Again, man, look at Amazon, team. Right, Nasdaq is obviously ripping up. Look at Amazon. Amazon's one of the reasons we've done this. And again, the main one, if you want to know the main stock that helped cause this, it's Nvidia. But I hope people learn a little bit, man. I'm not trying to be a broken record. I know, like, if you come to my stream, you might be like, oh, John never shuts up about this. Like, John just says this over and over again. I'm saying it over and over again so people will freaking listen. Because, again, imagine you're me. I have a very unique perspective. I see people's sentiments very up close every day. You know, and I will look at the market every day, 5 days a week for, 5+ years now. You know, and so I see the mistakes people make. I see, long-term mistakes. Short-term, it's whatever. The variance is very high short-term. So I can't really pinpoint mistakes like heavily that people make there. There's a lot of them. But long-term, in terms of predicting markets long-term, the single biggest mistake people make is that they somehow figure out how to fool themselves into betting against the financial markets long-term. And again, it's a beautiful thing once you actually realize like what the edge is. The edge is long-term stuff's going to go up. Again, I told people the bond thing, and again, a lot of it is banks. Here's Mike Wilson with Morgan Stanley telling you on October 31st that there will be no end of the year rally. And since then, we have had one of the biggest rallies in market history short-term. Maybe not in market history. Maybe that's a little bit of an embellishment. But still, point is, the banks sometimes tell you the wrong thing. And I think sometimes that's also intentional. Yeah, SPY 12-hour chart. What about the Q? Look at the Q. I'm going to put a 10-day chart up. I don't really have a 12-day chart. Oh, a 12-hour chart. 15-day, 1 day. 15-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour, 1 day. Yeah, look at the 4-hour chart, guys. On the Q. This is the Q. Here's the SPY. What a crazy move. Right, exactly, Cubano. Again, he said the stock market wouldn't even work. Yeah, I mean, I think the market, I don't think we're going to crash. Ron said everything is almost at a top. Will keep going or crash like it usually does. The market doesn't usually crash. My guess is what you mean by that is like correct some after big rallies like this, right? But it's not going to be a crash. It's probably going to be a correction. I agree. I think the market's really extended right now. I think markets are really extended right now. I think they pushed up very, very, very heavily. And so I think it's important for people to understand that, like, market's up a lot right now. Maybe we pull back some. Bob says if you could give some reasons behind just zoom out. I mean, the reasons are statistics, Bob. Like, again, the reasons I give, and again, that I've continued to give over the last long time, really for the last few years, is this. All right, and I've shown this many times before. Here's the S&P 500. Okay. We could look at the S&P 500 over a century of data here. Maybe not over a century. So about a century, a little bit less than a century of data, actually. About 95 years of data here on the S&P 500. And again, it's not something that I even need to prove that the market's going to go up over time, right? It's not. How many times have I done this? I've done this a lot, where I show the S&P. I say, well, this is the history of the market. The history of the market shows it's almost certainly going to go up over time. Again, another data point that I just mentioned is that there's only been 3 periods in history where we've had more than one red year in a row. Only 3 in history that we've had more than one red year in a row. So what does that mean? That means that's incredibly rare. And so what's the other takeaway from that? Market's probably going to go up, over time. That's normal. And again, I think those 2 things are really all I need to say. Amazon finally dipping down. But again, at the same time, guys, I think it's also possible that we're pretty extended on the upside right now. I think the market has moved up a lot. Everybody knows it. Profit taking is going to happen. I already started taking profit this morning. And And so profit taking is probably going to be a natural consequence of this crazy big run. And again, I would be careful buying stuff right now. Again, maybe not. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the market rips up. To me, we're really extended on the upside, although we are heading into the holiday season. And so maybe the Santa rally is going to continue. I hope it does. I truly do hope it does. But I don't know if it's going to. We'll see. Let me know. Do you think this market rally will continue, or do you think we finally pull back? Again, we got an hour and 10 minutes here, team, until this stuff happens. Yeah, but obviously I'm not talking about day trading, Bob. None of this was about day trading whatsoever. Holy crap, I just made a $7,000 on target. Should I just hold it long term? I don't know, brother. It's up to you, man. Usually if I'm up big on anything, I take some profit, and then if I want to hold it, I can. That way, if I end up, if it ends up contracting a little bit after I take profit, it's not the end of the world. I've already locked it in, and it's not going to turn into a big L, if that makes sense. That's usually my way of approaching that situation, but everybody's different. I don't think big funds are in. They wait for pullback after correction and then get in. We haven't had that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, all good, Ron. Yeah, that's what I figured. Again, and I kind of agree. I'm not saying we pull back heavily. I really don't know. I just think we're up a lot. And I think it's going to start to be time for a pullback pretty soon. Market's up a lot. And I think eventually the market's not going to keep going up. Eventually profit taking is going to stir in there. And I think the more we push up, the more extended on the upside we are, and the more probable a pullback is. Profit taking is the main reason for that. People are going to start being very happy with their gains. And what happens when people are happy with their gains? They start unloading some shares. Again, Tesla specifically up to 243s right now. You love to see it. I'm in Tesla right now. My average price on Tesla currently is 205. So 240s is a pretty nice spot for it. Very few events that might turn this bull rally to the downside, one of them being the shutdown. Yeah, but I don't think that I don't think that we need an event for this rally to end. George or Jorge, I don't think we need an event. I think extension can make this rally end because we're up a lot. And short-term markets typically don't go up forever, although it might seem that way with this latest run. But again, that's short-term. Long-term markets are going to go up. I'm at 201 on Tesla. Nice. Target beat. Target had mixed results in terms of EPS and revenue. I think it had better than expected EPS, like much better than expected EPS, but it missed rev. Yeah, you can see it at the bottom of the screen actually, but it missed rev, right? But the reason Target's up so much is because of guidance numbers. Guidance were expected at like 223 or something like that. They came in at like 260 for fourth quarter EPS guidance. So that's why Target's up as much as it is because good guidance numbers will pop it up like that. This rally D is probably making the dollar index fall, is my guess, right? Maybe not. Typically, yeah, big rallies like this are going to make the market dip, or the dollar index dip, and it did. Dropped heavily yesterday from 105s all the way down to 103s. In 10 trading days, Nvidia has added 280 trillion in market cap. Nah, that can't be right. Oh, maybe, I'm sorry, 280 billion. I was about to say 280 trillion. I read the number wrong. 280 trillion would make them the richest thing in the world. They would never have to do business again. They could just buy the whole world with 280 trillion. Where's Bitcoin at with all this stuff? Bitcoin's still over 36K, but it did pull back a little bit yesterday. Today, what will happen to the US dollar? It depends on what the market does. So the dollar has an inverse correlation with markets usually. So as the markets push up, the dollar index is going to go down. Yeah, Baba's tomorrow. We got jobless claims tomorrow. I think we got durable good orders tomorrow as well. Oh, man, I'm tired. Got a little scratch there if you guys can see it on my face. It's from jiu-jitsu. I hit somebody with my first ankle lock yesterday where I actually got somebody to tap with it, and I immediately felt bad. And so, I was rolling with this guy who, when I first started training there, I rolled with him and he just destroyed me. But then he hasn't really been there as much, and so I rolled with him again yesterday. And I'm mostly beat. Like, I'm not gonna say I won because it's just rolling, but like I had dominant position most of the time. Like I would pivot back from like trying to take us back to having him inside control and cross face to getting in mount to getting pushed out of mount, getting back into side control. I got to work on my mount retention for sure. But anyways, one of the times when it was right at the end of the round, right? So I was trying to go for some stuff because I wasn't as worried about giving up positions because it was towards the end of the round. And so right at the end of the round, he left his ankle out and I jumped on a straight ankle lock and, caused him to tap. But when he tapped, he seemed like he was hurt by it, like he was hurt by it. I immediately felt bad because he tapped, and the way he tapped was like, it wasn't a heel hook though, and straight ankle locks are safe for the most part. You got to tap to them if they hurt, but and I'm just a white belt. Is that bad form? I guess to straight ankle people. What I was taught was that straight ankles are fine. Heel hooks and knee bars can take people's knees out, but straight ankle locks are relatively safe as long as the person taps, which is the main. Anyways, yeah, this market's crazy in a good way. All right, guys, we got over 400 people here. Slap that like button here, team. We got 75 likes. We can do better than that. Yeah, again, people trying to bring up the definition of inflation. They say, you see, the rate of inflation is falling, but inflation itself is cumulative. Prices aren't falling, they're just slowing, right? And that's true. I see Ben Carlson posting this. That's absolutely true. I told people this yesterday, is that when CPI inflation data goes down, what it meant was that month to month we had no increase, actually. Since CPI came in at 0%, it meant month to month we had no increase, which is great, but prices go up over time. And so the CPI data is going to, prices are going to go up over time. And it's all connected. Like when you start to realize this is all connected, right? The reason the markets are going up over time is because inflation continues over time and prices continue to rise in that regard. And so the businesses are technically going to be earning more money, which is going to cause their stock price to go up. And it's all connected, So I hope you guys understand the flow of economics and money here and why it's all watched. But Amazon one of the biggest runs. Again, the only let's talk about the other side though. I've been really bullish today. I've told people again, I'm very skeptical to go bullish right now, and again, I think it's possible that we pull back some today. Again, I don't know about today, but whenever this bear pullback starts, I think we can pull back. I'm not sure how much, but I think typically after crazy big runs, we have small corrections at least afterwards. What are the vulnerabilities of the market right now? Just to say something on the other side, because I think this is possible too, is Nvidia. Nvidia, while it has had a big resurgence lately, it's back over 500. The PE ratio is still sky high, which means that the price of the stock relative to how much it makes is still not in a good, not in harmony. I guess is the easiest way to put it. If I look at Nvidia right now, what's the PE ratio? Nvidia PE currently is 119, which is pretty high. A good PE ratio is like Target at 15. 15 to 30 is like considered good, I would say, in this current market. So Nvidia having a PE ratio of 120 basically is very high. AMD having a PE ratio of 1.09 thousand. That's not right. Let me look up AMD's PE ratio real quick. All right, so again, let me look up AMD's PE ratio real quick. So AMD has a PE ratio of 257 divided by 257, so we do 120 divided by 257 yearly EPS. AMD has a PE ratio of about 46. So I guess the increase in price recently has helped AMD's PE ratio. It's about 46. It's not that bad for AMD. Nvidia's is much worse, but about 46 right now. So could be worse. Could be worse. But yeah, the point is, I think some of the vulnerabilities in the markets are that we're very reliant on tech right now, specifically AI and microchip tech. And eventually, what's Microsoft's PE? Let me see. Microsoft showed a PE ratio of 35. So Microsoft's not really that bad. Nvidia is the big one, but Nvidia is one of the stocks that's dragging the market up, right? And so if one of the stocks that is causing such a big bump up in price is having a PE ratio that's high, I think that puts the market, in a vulnerable position in which if Nvidia starts to correct a little bit to back down to earth some, that could drag the market down because Nvidia is the fourth highest weighted stock in both the NASDAQ and the S&P. And so I think that's one of the nuances of the market you want to pay attention to as well. Again, I as you guys know, generally, I think the market's going to go up. I don't know for sure. Nobody does. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. I've also been pretty correct about this year's rally. I told people we didn't have to crash last year. I told people the market might run. I told people that we were already coming back from a red year and that the market's not going to drop forever. But with all that said, I think specifically Nvidia can be in a vulnerable spot. And I hope it keeps going up. And if it keeps going up, maybe the PE ratio will correct a little bit. But when do we normally flip to bad news is bad news versus the opposite that we have today? What bad news, Oliver? I guess is the question. If you're referencing CPI came in lower than expected. Lower than last time. From what I understand, inflation going down is a good news. That probably makes the market go up. The other nuance of today is retail sales, right? So today we do have retail sales release. Retail sales expected at minus 0.2%. This is the only metric that I think we should look at today for a potential thing like that, in which bad news is good news and good news is bad news, in which like lower retail sales is going to be seen as a more positive thing relative to higher retail or less retail sales. So a more negative retail sales here might boost the market more than a high retail sales number, if that makes sense, because high retail sales could indicate inflation problems. And really, if you were listening to Powell and what Powell said in the last FOMC and some of the speeches he's done since then, one of the things that he's been very, very outspoken on, I guess I'll say, is that he thinks in order for inflation to get close to the 2% target, that the job market needs to slow. And that's been one of the more like harder things to stop, is the robust job market that we currently have, where unemployment's low, a lot of people working. The job market's been very difficult to discourage, I guess is the easiest way to put it. And so retail sales numbers are relevant to that nuance of the Fed's decision making, as well as inflation, and further potential problems with inflation. And so in that regard, retail sales today will be relevant. We're going to cover it as soon as it drops, of course, like we always do at 8:30 in less than an hour. But again, it's something that you kind of want to pay attention to. You want to understand. You want to realize that retail sales is going to be a big report today too. Are you bullish on the US 30? So the Dow? US 30 is the Dow, right? I always get the Dow mixed up. I'm pretty sure it is. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. The Dow, I'm bullish long-term on the Dow. Short-term, I have no idea what it's going to do. And I think we're probably a little bit extended on the upside heading into some stuff today. But I really don't know. I hope it goes up. Retail sales coming out at 8:30 along with PPI. Again, today we have PPI, which is the producer price index. It's the all right, so retail sales dropping at 8:30. PPI expected at 0.1%. Again, so the producer price index is expected at 0.1%. Core PPI, I don't see an expectation. I'll have to figure it out. But again, PPI expected at 0.1%. Let me check a different source real quick just to make sure we get it right. Still got about an hour left, team. Again, we got mortgage rates dropping already today, too. They came out at 7.6%, so flat. Again, we do have retail sales. PPI expected at 0.1% month over month. On the year, PPI expected at 1.9%, but 0.1% month over month. Sales are expected at, and again, this is going to be a relevant thing today. Again, we're going to cover it. The retail sales expected at minus 0.3%. Minus 0.3%. We're going to put this up on screen so you guys can kind of see what's going down. But yeah. Oh, yeah, the market's certainly bullish right now. I don't think anybody can argue that. When Fed starts cutting rates, the market is going to boom. Better be for the rocket right up. Yeah, I hope so. We'll see. Population is constantly growing, requiring more consumption, for sure. That's probably true. Or that is true. Of course. All right, guys. We also had some earnings that released today too. Let's go ahead and drop this number here as well. We got 500 people here now. We got an hour still, so I appreciate the love, guys. Again, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. We appreciate it. Thanks so much. Do you think the data is manipulated because Powell forecast the inflation to come down to 2% over 2 years? I think it was inflation came down from 9% to 3% in less than a year, which is crazy. No, not necessarily. I think that what you're really seeing, AC, is that it's very difficult to predict what inflation is going to do, including the Fed, even if you are the Fed. So I think inflation is very difficult to predict. And I think in that regard, it's not... I think what you're seeing there is not manipulation, but more so just a less predictable thing. What is the direction of the candle today? Purple. What are you trading, please? I'm trading Nvidia. I'm trading I'm not really trading Nvidia. I'm sorry. I am mostly investing in stocks right now and unloading stock positions. I'm going to be day trading futures closer to the opening. So I'm going to be day trading futures a little bit closer to the opening bell. So that's something that we'll be doing for sure. Again, I think the market will probably start flooding down a little bit sometime, but again, it's also very possible that we just keep on moving up, that we keep on pushing up. That's certainly very possible, just because we're up so much right now, team. We're up a lot. Market's up a lot. Bitcoin under 35K for a little bit yesterday. Again, I'm telling you guys, the biggest risk in crypto, I'm telling you guys, the same thing. The biggest risk in crypto is simple. The risk here, obviously, team, the risk is obviously that if this ETF spot doesn't get approved, Bitcoin's going to dump. It's going to drop drastically if it doesn't. I think that's a very obvious thing as well. And so I still think it's probably going to get approved, but I don't think it's like a gimme like everybody else. Everybody else seems to think that it's like a guaranteed thing. I'm not necessarily there yet. I hope it gets approved. I really, truly do, of course. It'll be great for crypto. I like crypto bull markets, but I don't think it's a given. And I think one thing that I've seen a lot, and you have to understand crypto and what happens with this type of stuff, right? So I'm going to explain it now. What happens is that people understand that the communities in crypto are manipulatable, right? And so what you see is people putting out these rumors. What they're most likely doing, in my guess, in crypto is that they're front loading ahead of time. So they're buying up a bunch of a specific coin, specifically Bitcoin in this instance, most likely. Right? They're buying up a lot of Bitcoin, front loading into it. And then they're putting out these rumors that Bitcoin's approval is going to happen in the next 24 hours. Right? And then Bitcoin seeing a short-term spike, they're unloading into that spike, making money and riding off into the sunset. And then 24 hours later, you realize that the approval actually didn't happen, right? That is my guess. They're just front loading and pumping it and then unloading it and then rinsing and repeating that. And I've seen multiple rumors that the Bitcoin ETF was going to get approved, and then it just didn't. But Bitcoin's still over 35K. The real question is whether it gets approved by January 10th, right? And we did a poll by this as well, but that's the real question. I mostly trade futures, Ellie, which is a little bit different. You can trade a lot of current, like, look, I trade futures, and in the futures market, no PDT rule. You can day trade short. The problem with Forex is that you have to use VPNs and all these different things. But the futures market, you can trade some currencies in futures. Like, let me show you. So, Top Step, tradable symbols. So on Top Step, it's a funded account program in futures. Again, you can trade bonds. So you can trade 2-year, 10-year, 30-year, 5-year, 10-year, ultra bond, euro dollar. You can also trade the Australian dollar, the British pound, the Euro FS, the Swiss franc, the micro Euro FX, the Mexican peso, the New Zealand dollar, the micro Australian US dollar pair, E-mini euro, Japanese yen, the Canadian dollar. You know what I mean? And you can also trade the E-mini, the NASDAQ, the Russell, micro Bitcoin, the micro E-mini Russell. You could trade cattle prices. Like in futures, there's no PDT rule, and you can day trade a lot of these things that you can in futures or that you can in Forex. And there's no PDT rule. And again, the patterns on something like the S&P are very similar to large cap patterns as well. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the SPY and then you look at Amazon right here. Again, look at how similar these look. And so a lot of people should be day trading futures instead of stocks because you don't need 25K to do it in futures. And these funded account programs like Top Step are allowed, which they give you a demo, test your skill. If you can hit the target on the demo without hitting the max loss, they fund you between 50 to 150K with a 90% split, and they pay out millions, fund thousands of traders every year. Even if you lose, you're only out $49. If you're good enough to pass it, you get a 90% split in between 50 to 150K in funding. They've been around for over a decade. It's a great way to learn trading with less risk. Most day traders lose when they first get started. And so it's kind of like a limiting your risk, learning how to trade under pressure. But if you're good enough, you can still get most of the benefits of putting up the money up yourself with just less risk at 90% split, $49 base combine. But again, they are a sponsor of mine. I'm definitely biased, of course, in their favor because, you know, they're a sponsor. But I think they're incredibly useful. Market bullish getting into overextended potential for a bearish pullback, morning data at 30. Yeah, so again, so the risks today, guys, the risks today are simple. The risks today are that the market has flown up over the last few days. In that regard, if PPI inflation data does not show a similar trend to CPI, it could be time for some corrections. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do. I'm not saying that we're going down. What I'm saying is that the market today is in a little bit, the bullish action is a little bit more vulnerable today relative to yesterday because the market has pushed up a lot yesterday. And again, generally speaking, the market tries to be balanced. So the market doesn't want to push up forever. The market would rather not push up forever. Or the market needs to correct. Balance is like a real thing. So the more we push up, the more extended most people tend to think we are, and me included. So just be careful today. Again, if inflation data comes out really bad, market could tank. It's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't know, but it's possible. So just understand all the potential outcomes of today, I guess, is the point. All right, so that hockey player that died, the guy that did it is going to end up, he just got arrested for manslaughter. They said, quote, "Our investigation launched immediately following this tragedy, and we have been carrying out extensive inquiries ever since to piece together the events which led to the loss of Adam and the unprecedented circumstances. We have been speaking to highly specialized experts in their field to assist in our inquiries and continue to work closely with the Health and Safety Department of Sheffield." Yeah, it's a rough video. I don't recommend anybody watch it. It's a terrible video to watch. I don't know. I used to play hockey. I was not very good at it. I mean, I can ice skate really well, but as a kid, I couldn't. Ironically enough, now I can. But I used to play in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We had the Kingfish. It's like a AAA hockey team. And so I played a little bit of hockey, but when I watched the video, it's hard to tell. To me, it looked intentional, right? Because very rarely do your skates ever get that high, ever. Those skates were way too high. You know what I mean? And so for the skate to go all the way up to somebody's, that area, it looks a little sketch to me. But again, it's also possible. The video is not the most clear thing. And so it's also possible that, something pushed his leg up there. I really don't know. I think you got to look at the video a little bit more closely. All right, guys, we almost got 600 people here. We still got 400, or we still got 40 minutes. Is this stock news or world news? That's whatever I want it to be. Regulators don't rush anything on holiday. I'm shorting Bitcoin Friday. Good luck, man. I mean, I think that's a risky bet too. I'm not necessarily going to do it, but. Again, Amazon's still looking pretty strong at 147. Yeah, if we look at the Fed Watch tool to see. .7% of people think we're going to. So we went back to rate hike instead of rate cut. So at this point in time, if you look at what's expected for December rate hike decision, almost 100% of people expect a pause again. No rate hike, but no cut and a pause. 0.3% of people, to which you can't even see the bar down here, expect a 25 basis point rate hike, which means that it's very unlikely that happens. Now, maybe this inflation data, especially with the inflation data coming in positive yesterday, right? Inflation data coming in good means it's very unlikely that we're going to raise rates in December because we don't need to, not as much. Again, I'm not saying we don't need to. Again, I think we probably could, but again, people don't understand the correlation with banks, and the more you raise rates, the more it affects banks, which trickle into the rest of the stocks and the rest of the world economy in general. So that's one thing. But again, you got to understand the nuance of people's sentiment, right? So if inflation comes in lower, obviously there's going to be less of a need. I'm not saying there's no need, but there's going to be less of a need for rate hikes in December if inflation data is better. What was a mistake, AC? Yeah, front loading at its finest. I think that's almost certainly what's going on. How many times have you seen the rumor come out that say the Bitcoin spot ETF was going to get approved in the next 24 hours? I've seen multiple of those already. And then every time Bitcoin pumps, and then when people realize that it wasn't true, Bitcoin comes right back down. And I'm guessing the people that are putting out these rumors are taking profit on the pumps, right? I think that makes sense. I can't really knock them for it. If people buy up anything, they buy up anything, but just be careful buying up and holding if you're buying it off of a rumor, I guess. CHPT didn't plug. I mean, CHPT is up to 330s. I just don't trust any of these companies. They used to be really when EV Fever first came out, they were really high. It was at $50 a share basically. Now it's at 3s. I just can't get behind it. Too bad of a chart. Yeah, all right. Yeah, Target's up. I'm in Target right now. Again, I told you guys my average is 107.50s in Target, but we've already taken profit in it. We're still holding some, but we've taken most of it off. Waiting for a big dip, maybe. Okay, let's do a question. What do you think PPI comes in at today? What percentage do you think PPI shows up at month over month today? That's that question. What percentage do you think PPI shows up at month over month today? I have no idea, right? Expectations are 0.1%. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with 0.2%. I'm going to go with slightly above expectations at 0.2. Again, maybe I'm wildly wrong. Retail sales is another really interesting one, although I think this was really hard to predict. It's not as easy. I don't think either of them are easy to predict necessarily, but I have no idea what retail sales are going to show up as. So expectations for retail sales are minus 0.3%. So. Yeah, it looks like most people are, Sorry, let me look up on the chat. 0.2%, 0.1%, 5.2%. 0.1%. I'm assuming you mean 0.01%. Or no. I'm assuming you mean 0.1%. Sorry, not 0.01. Robert, underneath you confused me. Retail will miss? Maybe. Thanos. Any idea? What you know is that the market makers want to liquidate shorts to create the same FOMO. Maybe. Inverse market crash? You mean so many people betting on a market crash that when they're wrong, they have to cover and that squeezes the market up? Is that what you mean? No idea? Yeah. I can respect that. Yeah, again, Burry closing a short position. I'm not going to say I told you so, but apparently, supposedly, Burry lost 40%. I have a link to what? Yeah, just be careful. TJ Maxx thoughts? I think, I know this isn't the TJ Maxx. Is this TJ Maxx? Maybe not. I was going to say, I don't like TJ Maxx as a company. Because I think them and Kohl's and stuff like that, I think the problem is that people realize they're not actually the same brand. They're made differently. The quality's worse. And retail has struggled, like specifically brick and mortar retail. But I don't really know enough about TJ Maxx business. Netflix, I took my profit on Netflix this morning. Again, I had held Netflix with 2 shares, but I made hundreds of dollars, or like over 150. I don't know how much I made at the end. I think I made like 140 actually with 2 shares on Netflix over the last couple months. So I'll take it. 0.3%. Burry clearly didn't watch John's report. Yeah, again, I think the problem with Burry is that he influences retail traders and he's wrong a lot, right? So I think anybody that has that much influence over retail that's wrong a lot should be criticized. Again, just to give you a recap of Burry throughout the last year or so. Number one is that Burry's predicted a million crashes since the big short in 2008, right? Burry's predicted so many different crashes. SPY just tapped 451s right now. We still got over 30 minutes, but Burry's predicted a lot of crashes. That's the first thing you have to understand about Burry. And again, I've said this before. I can't really knock him for it. Like, I can't be upset about Burry predicting crashes, because if I was Burry, I might be super skeptical of everything too. But I don't think you should always wear skepticism goggles. Burry has been wildly wrong about most crash predictions. Burry has predicted a bunch of crashes and it's just been wrong. And so sure, when you're throwing darts at a dartboard, eventually you're going to hit it. And again, if I was Burry, I might be skeptical too. Everybody counted him out in 2008. Everybody bet against him. Everybody made fun of him. He got shamed. His friends stopped being friends with him because he was bearish on the mortgage market. Like, all this different stuff happened. And then in the end, he was wildly correct and made billions and billions of dollars from it. I think his firm gained like over 1,000% gains from the Big Short in 2008. But, and again, so I understand his skepticism regarding everything. I do. I really do. I understand it. The problem is that he's too rigid in that skepticism. The problem is that he's too bearish, and I think sometimes you have to be like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's not wrong. Maybe we're all wrong. But again, I think even if we do crash now, his crash predictions are still running about 10% accuracy. And so, I think traders want to be the next thing. I think traders watch the Big Short and maybe they idolize Michael Burry a little bit. And I think that causes them to like treat everything he says like gold. But I think you have to understand his track record regarding crash predictions. Again, like around a year ago, maybe a little bit less than a year ago, ahead of the FOMC meeting, Burry told everybody sell, right? After the FOMC meeting, market ended up ripping up big percentages. And then Burry deleted his Twitter or deleted the post and deactivated his Twitter account afterwards, right? Later came out and apologized for telling everybody to sell. That's Michael Burry this year. Then this happens where it's rumored that he opens up this big short position, and everybody was trying to poke at me and be like, John, haha, Burry's getting rich off of this short. You're wrong, John. And then now it comes out that Burry lost because the market ended up flying up, and Burry lost 40% on those short positions. Now, again, to be fair, I don't think we have any set in stone results from Burry yet. These are all just supposedly insiders, but it's also very possible that this isn't true and that he did make money in that, or maybe it was a smaller percentage of his portfolio or whatever they're saying out there. I'm not sure. What I will say is that if he was shorting the market and if he was still in those shorts, a couple weeks ago, he's probably down based off of how much the market's ripped. He made billions on housing where they did bad loans. What's the catalyst now? I don't know. Interest rates, maybe. People with adjustable rate mortgages are going to have a hard time paying those interest rates. Could be the catalyst. Just to speculate on it myself as a real estate agent. And I don't really sell that many houses because it's not like my main business. But if people have adjustable rate mortgages, interest rates are super high right now. They're 8-9%, and a lot of mortgages are hitting 8 or 9% right now. And so if the teaser rate expires on those adjustable rate mortgages, just like in 2020, and people's mortgage prices shoot up, that could spark some selling. I don't know if it's going to be to the extent at which collateralized debt obligations and like all those other like crazy stuff from 2008 caused the market crash and the mortgage failures. But yeah, I don't know. All right, guys, we got over 700 people here. We still got 26 minutes. Surely Burry took profit. Maybe. A lot of reports are saying he lost 40%. All right, team. Markets are still flying up. Yeah, freaking AMC is one of my biggest losing trades that I have the least amount of confidence right now. Again, my worry for AMC is that it's going to go bankrupt. John, if PPI is monthly, how could one expect PPI to be lower if rates are still higher exchanged? What do you mean? PPI is the producer price index, so it's the business. Hey, thank you, Basic. Yeah, hit the like button, team. We appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. I'm going to throw it in sub-only mode as well. We are in sub-only mode, so everybody announce yourself. Show us your subs. We appreciate it. Again, y'all hit that like button. We got 157 likes. Let's try to break 200 before this report, can we? I think we can. Nvidia keeps ripping up. Yeah, Nvidia is really one of the reasons the market has been following. It's been bullish. Is Nvidia. Nvidia's up a lot. AMD's up a lot as well. AMD over 120s. I'm with you. What's up, Maximus? Do you think AMC is a good price to buy in now? I think the risks right now, Taryn, is that bankruptcy is a thing. You know, again, the problem is like you see all the ape community post about how strong AMC is and about how, you know, it underreacted to its earnings player, all that good stuff. But then immediately afterwards, the company did they diluted themselves, you know, so offerings are dilution. So like a company having to sell $250 million worth of shares and dilute the company to make money means they're not making enough in their normal business practices. And diluting the company is never a good thing. And it's something that we just recently saw. And so, you know, yeah, I think that's a very bad sign for AMC. And I think bankruptcy is a risk for sure right now, regardless of what anybody says. Again, the problem is that it's very simple. It's a movie theater stock after a global pandemic a few years ago, you know, widely affected how people consume movies. You know, imagine how many like good big blockbuster movies are now direct to streaming. You know, that standard has changed now, and that's bad for movie theaters in general. Now, I still think they make money. I still think they have a business model. I still think there's a chance of success, and I hope. And again, I'm in AMC right now, but I'm telling you my honest opinion of it, my honest worries about it, and maybe this stuff isn't true. I don't know, but that's my genuine worry about AMC is that it's going to file for bankruptcy. I don't like that offering they just did at all. Especially, I think they should have stayed stable for a while, man. I don't think they should have offered at all. I think that's a terrible thing they did there. They already did a reverse split, and they did, you know, special purpose ape divvy that they then needed to bring back. Like, there's just a lot of changes structure wise in the stock this year, and I think the fact that they, on top of those changes, did an offering like diluting the company more, it's a bad sign. It's a bad sign. You know, regardless of what anybody says, they're going to say, oh, the hedgies are just spreading FUD or whatever to try to talk people into not selling. But I think there's risks. Again, I'm in it right now. Again, I'm in AMC right now, but I'm worried about it, I guess, is the easiest way to put it. It's not a huge size, so it's not going to destroy me, but yeah, Disney all the way up to almost 92s again. I cut Disney a few days ago, though. All right, team, we got about 22 minutes left still. Hey, thank you, Maximus. We got 800 people here. I don't know what stock's on a good price bash. I don't tell people what to buy either. Yeah, The Big Short's a great movie. If you've never seen The Big Short, go watch it. You're great. If you're a trader, The Big Short movie, again, I've said this once, I'll say it again. The Big Short movie is what single-handedly got me into the stock market and trading. Before I watched The Big Short, I had never taken a trade in my life. You know, I never knew what trading was. Never really, again, I was always a poker player, you know, strategy game player, chess, checkers. I love playing stuff like that. My mom is very much the same way. My mom used to play canasta and like all these other card games. And so I was always very much a card player prior to learning about stocks. I went and saw the movie The Big Short with my wife on a date, you know, almost a decade ago. And, you know, watched that movie and it inspired me to want to learn trading. I saw how much money was floating around in the markets, and so, you know, we started trading, and yeah, here we are. Yeah, again, Burry made me a trader in some ways. The movie itself made me a trader in some ways. What chart I'm seeing? This is the SPY and Amazon right here on the left and right. Here's the Q. So here's the NASDAQ. At 388 right now on the NASDAQ. Margin call is great too. I like margin call. Margin call a lot less inspiring though. I'll tell you that. Margin call is about a fire sale in a stock. Margin call is about a fire sale in an investment bank during the mortgage, like on the very start of the mortgage crisis. And so it's a great movie, really good movie. Less inspiring though, you know. 78% of Americans say the economy is on the wrong track, according to Fannie Mae. I think Fannie Mae is on the wrong track. All right, PPI inflation data, 30 minutes, guys, 30 minutes. Looking at our poll numbers here, 77% of people think PPI report continues this latest run. 77% of people say yes, the run continues today. 23% of people say no, the run stops. 19 minutes, sorry, not 30 minutes. I'm reading, that was a Twitter post. Yeah, it's in 19 minutes. Here's a timer right here. This timer's accurate. All right, team, we got 20 minutes, 20 minutes. Bro, I'm sorry, but you got this penny stock guru guy who was very bearish and was like, aha, you know, bulls, greedy bulls on the market, they're getting punished. You know, haha, the market's going to crash. I think we're going to see another Black Monday and all this different stuff. Right now, my guy's posting like, you gotta love seeing, you know, these short sellers get absolutely annihilated. Haha. It's like, bro, don't lie. Don't act like you weren't bearish, bro. Come on now. I'm not gonna mention names, but come on now, dude. Yeah, according to CNBC, Burry closed that $1.6 billion short position. Yeah, I'm not going to say. What's your current bias on the market? My current bias is I don't know what the market is going to do. What I will say is that PPI has the chance to push the market down a lot, as well as push the market up. But I think like the range at which PPI pushes the market up is going to be smaller than the range at which it could potentially push the market down, if that makes sense, right? Basically, I think if inflation data comes in high, the market could drop a lot more than it goes up if inflation data comes in favorably. Because I mostly just based off of pure extension, like the market's up a lot, and so when the market is up this much, usually we're going to correct a little bit. But again, the last couple weeks have been a crazy time market wise. They really have. Like the markets have been just soaring over the last 2 weeks. You know, if you put a 4-hour chart up, Pawn talked about it. Look at this run. This has been one of the most bullish times in markets. So again, the crazy thing is like, this is less than a month ago, right? On the 23rd of October, you know, this started a little bit over 2 weeks ago. So the last 2.5 weeks have been a crazy time, a crazy rip in markets. And so, and again, at the same time, I think at a certain point, we're getting a little extended. I don't think we're going to continue up forever. I think something that's certainly possible right now is the market corrects a little bit short term and then starts to run again in December for a Santa rally. I think that's possible. But again, I certainly don't know for sure. Is PPI as drastic as CPI? No, not even close. PPI is much less of an influence over markets. Usually, it varies though. CPI is usually the larger report because it's actually inflation for us consumers. Can't answer what? Yeah, I don't know what the market's gonna do. This rally has made me euphoric. What's up, Shepard? Bears only hate making money. Yeah, I mean, hey, what's up, Manny? Hey, thanks, brother. Amazon breaking highs again might drag the market up too. I think you got some short traders that truly believe the market's gonna fall, technically, in a technical way. And then you got other ones that are just swayed by politics, that hate the current administration, that want to see the market fail as some type of proving point against the current administration. I think that happens a lot, and that influences people's bias and makes them too bearish sometimes. And again, I'm very neutral politically. I'm not against you politically. I'm not against anybody politically. I'm not against the left either. You know what I mean? I think you have to be neutral politically. Like, I think if you let your political bias infiltrate your trading and investing, it's a recipe for failure. You got to stay unbiased and objective. Yeah, the PCE drops November 30th. What PCE is the personal consumption expenditure, right? So that's actually the Fed's preferred inflation metric. That's going to be an interesting one that probably will influence what the Fed chooses to do in December. And so, but PCE data doesn't drop for a few weeks. All right, guys, we got about 1,000 people here. We still got over 12 minutes left. Again, slap that like button if you haven't yet. There we go. It's probably more than 77 people, my guess is. Lower PPI and retail sales good for markets? Probably. Again, I don't know for sure, but probably. All right, team, 10 minutes, roughly, a little bit, yeah, about 10 minutes, a little bit over that, but where's Kevin Gates at? The market doesn't get tired. Market has two phones, Berkshire Hathaway has noted that it omitted at least one holding from its recent report, writing that it had requested confidential treatment from the SEC. Yeah, Home Depot did really well yesterday. Retail's been flying right now. And this is one of the ways in which you can sympathy trade stocks, right? And again, I'm going to preface this with I can't guarantee any results, anything. I have no idea whether you're going to be able to make money from this or not. This is just an idea that might be wildly wrong because you guys know me. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But You could look at sectors, right? Retail sector, Home Depot, Target, Walmart, so forth and so on, right? You could look at those sectors, see when they're trending favorably, and buy underrepresented stocks. What I mean by that is like Home Depot reported earnings yesterday, and they did really well for earnings. They flew up, had a big gap up, had great numbers. I think Lowe's did as well. Let me see when Lowe's reported. And no, Lowe's reports next week. And maybe that's one of the same ideas here, guys. And so you could look at Home Depot and say, okay, Home Depot did really well retail-wise. You could look at spending overall, I guess, is another thing, and use that as a gauge on Target. Target ended up flying up. And again, our average price in Target's $107.50. It's currently at almost $130. So you'd love to see a big percentage gain there. I wonder what that percentage is. Let me check. All right, guys. So yeah, it's up to almost 126 right now. It's at about 125. So to go from 107.50, we'll call it 120. I sold at 128 is really where I sold at this morning. Maybe not quite 128. We'll call it 127.30 is probably where I got out, something like that. So we made 18%, 18.5% from that trade, from our Target trade, based off of the entry that I just took. Based off my entry. John, you still got your Z Fold, man. This thing's nice trading. Yeah, I mean, I got a new one not too long ago, though. But yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I like this phone. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Too many people are bullish today. That could make the market pull back before making new highs. Maybe, yeah, for sure. I think profit taking is going to happen eventually. It's not something in which we just continue to see up action, consistently. At least it's not something that we usually see. All right. And then I see, man, I got to get a TV like this. This is a cool TV. You can configure the screens up to 9 any way you want from your phone. 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top. Daniel Negreanu, poker player. Honestly, I like this setup. Oh man, some of that stuff's funny. Sorry, let me check back over the chat. All right, guys. Hey, we got 6.5 minutes left. 30K TV. Man, I better do some stuff for 30K. Target's still ripping back up over the VWAP. It is selling a 30K TV. It's the LG Signature 97-inch. Bro, who in the right mind is gonna buy this freaking TV for $30,000? $30,000 for a TV. It's a 97-inch TV. And it looks really cool, but 30K for a TV seems excessive. Again, like, an 80-inch is pretty standard right now. Is the extra 17 inches of TV worth 30K? I don't know. Worth the extra 25K that you're gonna spend on it? I don't know. Anyways, we got 6 minutes, guys. 6 minutes. All right, guys, get your last minute predictions in. We got about 5.5 minutes left. 5.5 minutes, team. We got 1,200 people here. John, let's real talk. Even if PPI comes down going forward, do we really think retail will lower prices? No, they will keep them the same and margins will increase. We are here now. Yes, but that's not That's not, it's not about, you have to understand that, like, well, we're not trying to bring prices down. We're trying to pause prices. You know, because like prices are going to go up over time, and it's inevitability. You know, we're trying to pause prices. We don't want prices to increase. Like typically, like CPI as an example, you know, we paused consumer prices month to month. That's why the market ripped up so much, is because prices didn't increase month to month. They came in at 0%. So they stayed stable. Now they're still up on the year, of course, but like we're not going to be able, some prices are going to go down for sure. But it's not something in which it's going to be really feasible to get. What we're trying to do is slow things. That's the first step. It's not really bringing prices down. It's more so slowing them. Hey, baby, I have PPI data coming out in about 2 minutes, and so I'm trying to kind of prep everything. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to wait 5 minutes to do it. I'm sorry. This is like one of the biggest days on my stream. I'm sorry. I forgot to take the trash out. I'll get it. All right. Look, I love you. I'll get it. Just let me go. I'll bring the trash out real quick right now. All right. Love you. Bye. What? All right. Well, baby, let me get off the phone and do it. Or here, your dad's here. Let me ask him if he can do it for me. All right. All right. Love you. Bye. All right, sorry guys, I forgot to take the trash out. We got 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. My girl is dropping my kids off from school. My wife is dropping my kids off from school. Are y'all really making fun of me for having to take the trash out? Guys over there, do y'all not take the trash out? You know? No, you guys got to understand, if I miss the trash, we're going to be sitting on stinky trash for a week. That's an emergency. Do you think it's bullish again? Carol cut it close, yeah. All right, we got 2 minutes. I might have to leave you guys after this report comes out to cover the trash, though. But I got to take the trash out, guys. It's life. Yeah, it's not that my wife wouldn't do it. Again, we got 1.5 minutes left. I'm gonna get ready for that. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. We got almost 2,000 people here live right now. But yeah, it's not that she can't do it. She's just not here right now. And if the trash guy comes, you know, we're gonna miss trash, and that's gonna suck because we're gonna have a bunch of stinky trash here for a week. But yeah, here's the live button. Make sure it's red, guys. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. We got 1 minute here. 1 minute. Even YouTube stars have to take out the trash. Hey, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of puns to be had right now. Here we go, though, guys. Get ready. It's time. Retail sales. PPI inflation data. Here we go. All right, guys, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. All right, guys, 20 seconds here. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. We got 1,700 people here live right now. Again, will the market go up? Will the market tank? 15 seconds. Hit the live button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. All right, here we go. Here's the report. And boom. Report is out. Q is up. PPI just showed up at minus 0.5% month over month. Minus 0.5% month over month. Wow, dude. Minus 0.5% month over month. Retail sales came in at minus 0.1%. So a little bit higher than expected retail sales report. If the market is going to go down, that's one of the things. But PPI coming in noticeably lower than expected at, again, minus 0.5% month over month. Minus 0.5% month over month. Way lower than expected. Again, that's a great sign for inflation. Retail sales did not go down as much as expected, but still went down 0.1% month to month. Again, minus 0.5%. Again, the market might not react super favorably to this. Number one, because they're up so much already. But number two, because retail sales data came in higher than expected. Okay, so at a more positive way than expected, which is not going to be seen as necessarily positive. But the market has popped up a little bit. We are at 388.50s, 388.50s. The SPY's starting to turn down a little bit. We still got about 2,000 people here live. Again, we are starting to turn. We're at 451s. 451s. We got over 2,000 people here live right now, guys. So thanks so much. I appreciate the love. Again, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover this data very, very quickly, very, very fast. Again, PPI coming in much lower than expected, much better than expected. Market's turning, though, because retail sales came in higher than expected as well. Retail sales came in higher. You can see the report on the screen right now. There's the report right now on screen. And again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. Top Step is a funded program in futures. If you want to day trade this volatility, again, we could look at Tesla. We could look at Nvidia. They all look very similar to this. Okay, so what does that mean is that you can day trade similar price action. Here's Amazon with no PDT rule in futures. I could day trade the S&P, which is the SPY. I could day trade the NASDAQ, which is the Q. No PDT in futures. Top Step's the most legit futures funded program in the world. They give you a demo and they test your skill. If you lose on the demo, you're only out $49 for the base one. If you're good enough to pass it, and again, you got to make $3K in profit on a $50K demo without losing over $2K, so a 2 to 3 ratio. If you're good enough to pass it, they fund you $50K with a 90% split. They're the most legit one in the world. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals. They've been around for over a decade. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year, fund thousands a year. Again, here's the link if you want to check out Top Step. Great way to help support your boy here. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm definitely biased in their favor because they pay me money. But again, you can check it out right here. Great way to help support us, guys. I appreciate it. I got to go take the trash out, guys. I'll be right back. While I'm gone, does the market pull back now? All right, so higher retail sales, lower PPI and higher retail sales, guys, is the name of the game today. I'll be right back, guys. If you want to check out Top Step, link is in the description. I appreciate the love. And again, I got to go. I'll be right back. All right, well, the trash is out. I'm back. Market is mostly flat from this report. Again, what the reason the market is dipping right now is because simply the retail sales were higher than expected. That's the reason this market dipped on this report. And PPI came in much lower than expected. Originally, we had to move up. But again, I think there's two things that are influencing this. Number one, the market is still up a lot on the day. Okay, number two, the market's up a lot over the last couple weeks. Number three, retail sales were higher than expected, which in an inflation-fearing market is not necessarily a good thing. Inflation is going to react negatively to high retail sales. So that's essentially what went down here, is that inflation fears were reignited a little bit on higher retail sales numbers. This. So we're starting to dip down a little bit. Again, another thing that I've been using for my trading, you saw a couple days ago or yesterday, I think I made over $1,000 in futures yesterday. One of the ways I'm doing it is a funded account program called, or is a trading view indicator service called Chart Prime. So again, I can look at any time frame. I'm looking at the E-mini, which is what I use to, in futures is what I day trade. It's basically the SPY. So this is basically the SPY action. Look at how accurate this could be. And again, the one I always use, like look at how accurate just today's price action is, right? So this is a time in which we're really trending well. Good, man. I think I called it just in time. Oh, well. But yeah, so look at how well Chart Prime did today. So if you look at this team, my favorite one to use is a 5-minute chart on the E-mini or the SPY, in which we have an engulfing candle and a reversal signal that shows up around the same point. So these have to show up right on top of each other like this. You can see a reversal signal, bearish engulfing candle. You can see a reversal signal, bearish engulfing candle, literally right on top of each other. Look at the follow through. So like 45 minutes of bear action afterwards, like another 45 minutes of bear action. Even if you just look at reversal signals, nice little bounce, nice little dip afterwards. And so even just the reversal signals work, but every one of them worked today. And then if you also want to look at engulfing candles, look at these engulfing candles show up and look at how accurate they can influence direction here, if you can spot them fast enough. And so there's a lot of edge here. This is just a small piece of what Chart Prime offers. I can also put up Market Oracle Pro, which is like buy and sell signals. So I can put up like a little bit shorter term buy or sell signals. I could put up chart patterns. I could put up smart money concepts, oscillators, on a 5-minute chart. And look at these as well. I mean, again, they can be pretty impressive. Like, look, let's count to see how many of these worked versus didn't work. Buy signal worked. Sell signal up here definitely worked. Sell signal here definitely worked. Strong buy signal here definitely worked. Sell signal there worked. Buy signal here worked. Sell signal here worked. This buy signal didn't, so that's 1. This sell signal definitely worked. Buy signal worked. Sell signal worked. This buy signal didn't work, so that's 2. This sell signal worked, right? And you can see the alerts that are actually showing up on my chart. But let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2 of them didn't work out of 13. And again, you can see the alerts that show up on my chart here. So you can set alerts for these things as well to learn when they show up. And this is a company called Chart Prime. Great company. I use them a ton with my trading, and they can just be powerful. And so if you want to check it out, you can use this code right here, this QR code. You can also check the link here. Again, I try to wait to plug sponsors to the very for after a first few hours. I try not to plug anything just right at the beginning of the stream. So, but yeah, if you want to check out Chart Prime, there's the link. That's just a really small piece of what they offer, to be honest. All right, so again, market's flat. Let's see. Anyway, we might trade a little bit more today too on Top Step here. Get a quant tower. All right, so you guys ready to day trade? We're gonna start day trading right now. We still got a little bit less than an hour before the open, but Again, we're right at the VWAP on the Amazon stock. We're looking at the Q, which is the NASDAQ here as well. Okay, nice. Let me get all this stuff ready. Get this stuff out the way. Wait for it to connect. Gotta let Chart Prime work out. But yeah, we made yesterday we made about $1,200 on one of these. So I'm gonna keep grinding that. I was trying to short it too, but again, PPI is right here. This is PPI right here. I don't understand how consumer spending can increase inflation. I thought only government spending did that. It's very simple, Wretched. Inflation, especially consumer inflation, is business prices. Okay. Okay. Imagine you're selling packs of bubble gum for 25 cents, right? And you put out a pack and you got 200 that you put out in the store every day. And every time you put out that 200, those 200 packs of bubble gum, by noon, they're sold out, right? By noon, you have no more left. You know, and customers are buying them at 25 cents a piece. What are you going to do as a business owner? Right? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get more inventory, but you also might consider raising your prices. Why? Because consumers are spending so much on your product. You can raise prices. That's the justifiable thing. You can raise prices in that regard. And so that's a small time example of that, but magnify that times 1,000 and you get retail sales coming in much higher than expected. Signaling bearish action, because what does that mean when retail keeps spending? Businesses may raise prices. Why? Because they can. And that's capitalism. That's consumerism in general. So. All right, so they already got my trash. That was quick. We got it out just in time. All right, again, market's dipping down. We're going to get ready to day trade here. Is this the wrong chart prime? Is anybody having trouble with Quant Tower today? Finally got in. Weird, it didn't auto-correct. Last time it auto-corrected. Here's the NASDAQ, which is basically the Q. Okay, so the NASDAQ is basically the Q. All right, so we're going to get ready to maybe trade the NASDAQ, look at this chart a little bit and trade it. So again, stick around. We're going to be day trading some of these stuff at the opening bell too. There it was. Okay, I got that one. There we go. All right. Again, so here's the Q. What other charts do you want up besides the Q here? This is the Q. This is what we're going to be day trading, but I could put up a couple charts on the side that we can still watch. I don't need to put the Q up because the NASDAQ is the Q. I could put up like Nvidia, Amazon. Those are stocks that are heavily influencing the market right now. Tesla maybe too. Again, I told you guys that I was kind of bearish here because extension plays a real thing. Now, we haven't pulled back too much. Tesla has, though, but again, we're still up really nicely in our portfolio. Have you ever lost day trading? Is this a real question? No, I've never lost ever in anything, ever. I don't lose. You know, I breathe victory, okay? I poop success. Like, never lose at anything ever. I don't even know what a loss is. I don't even know what loss means. Of course I've lost. I've lost a lot. All right, so I'm going to wait for a little bounce up before we start taking some positions here. Of course I've lost, man. Everybody's lost. Any day trader the only day traders that claim to never lose are those trying to sell you a course, and that's not me. You know, I'm not trying to sell you guys a course. I don't care about any of that stuff. Yeah, I almost lost to the wife for not taking the trash out this morning. My battered husband over here, you know. No. All right, guys. Yeah, everybody loses all the time. It's normal life. That's just kind of what happens. All right, so sorry, I was just on the phone. I did short a little bit just now, so I made like $50 here. Let me see how much I made. Yeah, I think I made like $50. I don't know how much I made, to be honest, but I made something. Let's find out. All right, so I made $45 just now. I'm probably going to short this again. All right, so we're short. I've got a very large cushion in this account already. So, not the $50. I'm just talking about in general profit in this account. Watch Nvidia, though. Nvidia slumped down and had one of the biggest gap up candles I've seen, which is very odd. All right, we're up 25. Again, we're building up a cushion. My system on Top Step is simple. I build up a cushion. All right, so we just locked in some more. Scalping mostly. I built up a cushion scalping. We're up about a little bit under 100. Once I have that cushion, that gives me the green light to take more risks. So I'm able to take larger size. I'm able to trade larger. Okay, so Vivek says, can you please explain the bubblegum example for retail sales and why they negatively impacted the market? I was done, but I'll go ahead and explain it again. Imagine you're a business, a bubblegum vendor, okay? And so imagine, I'm going to keep it a little bit more simple. Imagine you put out 50 pieces of bubblegum every day in your store for 25 cents a piece, you know, and by noon that day, so by halfway through the day, they're all sold out, right? What are you going to think to do? You're going to think to eventually raise prices because you can, because they're selling out so quickly. I mean, you're going to get more inventory, maybe start putting more out. But another one of the reactions to that is going to be to raise prices. Now, when you magnify that at a much larger level, when you expand that to a much larger level, I should say, that's one of the reasons that higher retail sales is negatively affecting our markets. That's one of the reasons the market dipped on good PPI data that was much lower than expected, because, again, the more consumers are spending, the more likely the businesses are to raise prices because they can, you know. And again, that's just the natural consequence of it. And that's why retail sales coming in higher than expected. While it's the opposite of convention. You know, conventionally, higher retail sales in a more thriving economy is better. But right now, in an inflation-fearing market, that's not necessarily the case. People fear inflation too much. I am trading the E-mini NASDAQ 100. The NQZ3 is the current symbol of the NASDAQ 100. Basically, I'm trading the futures version of the Q. You know, if I look at the Q on the right side, and then I look at this, it's the same price action. You'll notice it's literally the exact same thing. The price is different, but it's the same price action. Look, big upwick, red action, bounce, big upwick, red action, bounce. It's the same thing. So, but I can day trade this left side in futures, no PDT rule. I can buy market, buy bid, sell, ask, just like stocks, just no PDT rule. In Top Step, funds traders and futures. Again, they give them demos, they test the skill. Just taking the challenge on the demo builds your skill. Some paper trading platforms cost more than $50 anyway, which is what the base combine on Top Step costs. But the big edge is like trading is about learning how to trade under pressure. You know, learning to be a good trader, you got to learn how to trade under pressure. This gives you a perfect middle ground of that pressure, where if you lose, you're out $50. You're not happy about it, but it's not also the end of the world where you're losing thousands putting up the money yourself. You know, so in that regard, it's the best of both worlds. If you lose, they're going to give you a demo. They're going to give you a profit target and a max loss. If you can hit the profit target, which the base one on 50K one is 3K in profit, you can't lose over 2K. So it's a reasonable ratio, a 2 to 3 ratio as well. If you can accomplish that, they fund you they fund you 50K with a 90% split. They have free funding coaches. They pay out millions every year. Again, they're the most legit one in the world, in my opinion. But again, they're also a sponsor of mine. So of course I'm biased because they pay me money. But again, I think this is incredibly useful. I think most day traders lose. And so it doesn't make any sense, in my opinion, to put up crazy amounts of money yourself to learn day trading and losing thousands of dollars. That seems like a really silly thing. I think it makes much more sense to try a funded account program. You still have some pressure, not the full extent of risking thousands like you would, but still some pressure to learn how to trade under that pressure. And then if you're good enough, you can get funded. And once you're funded, you're still keeping 90% anyway. And so it's the best of both worlds in that regard, in my opinion. But of course, like I said, I am biased. If you want to check it out, here's the link. What are your thoughts for gold? Gold's had a good couple weeks too. You know, gold getting close to 2,000 again. Gold's had a great year too. Gold, again, I always say this, but it's really important for people to understand. Gold is a much better performing asset over the last 20 years than the S&P 500 in the stock market has been. Gold has over 7x'd over the last 25 years. 7 times its value 25 years ago. So, I mean, that's a crazy big thing. Again, we're short now in Top Step. We built up a cushion of about $100. Again, our goal is to get about $200 in cushion, and then we'll scale up our size. Might have to start cutting this too. All right, so we're going to take 2 contracts here, play with this, see if we get a big rejection quickly. All right, so we're dipping down. We're probably going to get ready to cut this, and we're going to be down like $100 on the day, unless this turns quickly on us. All right, a little bit better. Let's see if we keep flushing down, though. All right, we're much more back down to earth. Shoot. Spill coffee. Watching a trade, spilling coffee on myself. That's all good. All right, so we're close to flat on this trade now. We got 2 contracts at the NASDAQ, a little bit larger than I normally typically prefer to trade. All right, so we just locked in some. All right, we just locked in a little bit more. We're up about 150 on the day, so we're pretty close to our goal here of $200 in cushion. No losing trades yet here. No losses yet. Can we get a quick review about today's data release? Yeah, so PPI came in much better than expected at minus 0.5% versus a positive of 0.1%. So basically, producer prices went down month to month 0.5%. So that's better for inflation, of course, because prices went down month to month relative to an expectation of a gain of 0.1% month to month for PPI for producer prices. Okay, so that's a positive aspect of today's data report. The negative one, again, in the bubblegum example I just used, is retail sales. So again, retail sales came in noticeably higher than expected, at minus 0.1% versus minus 0.3%. So noticeably higher than expected. They were still negative, which is good, but they were still higher than expected. The other nuance of the market right now is extension. Like we're up a lot over the last 2.5 weeks. And so markets aren't going to go up forever despite economic data. Like extension's a thing, and the market's up a lot. And so that's why we're probably pulling down slightly here. And I don't know what we're going to get at the opening bell. Again, we got a couple minutes yet, but I really don't know what we're going to get. But yeah, that's the data release. G. Yeah, all good, dude. All good. Again, we look like we're in a bear flag right now. I don't know if we are, but we look like we are. Okay, my music is a little bit too loud. Gotcha. There we go. It should be a little bit better. Again, the Q pretty green on the day still, despite PPI. Again, you can see the previous closing price. People acting like we're super bearish right now. Again, the previous closing price on the Q is 385.30s. Okay, the previous closing price on Nvidia is 496s. It's at almost 500 basically. It's at 499.80. We can look at the SPY, which is the S&P. Again, previous closing price on it is 448. We're at over 450 right now. So we're still pretty green on the day, all things considered. Again, short term, I'm shorting, but I will pivot to the long side if we get some strength. Again, I'm going to short this, I guess, but it's certainly risky. I might add to it too, though, with the reason of that being we're right over the 200 EMA, or right under the 200 EMA, under the volume-weighted average price. So there we go. We're in 2 contracts now with the NASDAQ here. Flat so far. Bouncing up a little bit, rejecting. We'll take a little risk since we're up close to a couple hundred on the day. Again, if I'm wrong here, I got to cut it and be close to break even instead of down or instead of up. I'd love a retracement here, but I have to be prepared to cut it if it goes against me too. Flat now. Back to... let's get a rejection. Problem with the NASDAQ, it's so freaking volatile. All right, so we just took half off, locked some profit in. We're up 160 plus this, so we're up about 2 on the day right now if we took profit here. I'll give it a little bit longer. All right, we'll go ahead and take that. All right, so we built up the cushion on the day, scalping mostly. So we got a cushion of $210 on the day. Could have held it a little bit longer, but again, we're trying to build up a cushion first. Once we have that cushion, then we'll take larger risks, and now we are able to take larger risks. We'll see how we do there. One thing you'll see with this, though, guys, is that I was never down. I was never down anything over $50 all day. You know, and I'm up over 220. So I was never down anything over that. And again, that's the risk management system I think you have to use if you want to get funded in these funded programs. I think I think that's the way you do it. Again, if you want to know how to pass Top Step's funded account program, what you do is you build up a cushion. Once you have that cushion, you're allowed to take larger risks. If you don't have a cushion, you use one contract only of whatever you want to use, really. One contract only. Mostly, I choose to scalp when I'm building the cushion, like you just saw me. But then once I have that cushion, I kind of pivot to sometimes more trend trading. Sometimes I still scalp, but I'm allowed to take larger size. And then if I have a larger cushion, say I build up $500 in profit, then I have to sit there and I have to ask myself, hey, do I want to push it or do I want to sit on the $500 in gains? And ultimately, it depends on where I'm at with the account, especially if it's a combine like funded program. I don't know, Wretched. I'm not sure what you should do, brother. Not going to tell you what to do either. No idea, dude. All right, so we're nearing in on the deadline for the spot Bitcoin ETF. Yeah, so Burry liquidates his big short after suffering big losses and is now doubling down with a big bet on semiconductors. I see a lot of people reporting Burry is doubling down on semiconductors, but I don't see a lot of bearish traders talking about how he lost 40% allegedly. All right, team. Again, we got about 25 minutes until the market opens. Is he bearish on the conductor trade? Let me see. He bought puts on SOXX. SOXX. What, is this an inverse ETF is the question. Here, let me check. Okay, yeah, he's short semiconductors right now is basically what he is. Semiconductors have ripped up. This is not an inverse ETF. So yeah, basically he's shorting semiconductors right now, which honestly I'm not like against heavily. I think that might be a good move. So again, I'm not really against Burry short there. I think that one has the possibility to work out because again, specifically you got to look at Nvidia PE ratio. You got to look at AMD PE. Although AMD PE is not really that bad, but yeah. All right, so U.S. poker news. West Virginia has officially joined Delaware, Michigan, Nevada, and New Jersey in a multi-state internet gaming agreement, allowing West Virginia-based online poker players the ability to play against players from other jurisdictions. Honestly, bro, Texas is never going to join, but I hope it does, man. I really do. I hope it does. So we are popping up a little bit here. Part of me might short this again. We're in short, green, now red. You know, we're just in a bearish trend, and so we'll trade it until it stops working. All right, we're out. We just lost. Now we're up 170 on the day. That's the first loss of the day. We still got a 6-to-1 win-loss ratio. So, and that might have continued to work too. But again, I'm just not going to sit on it. Here's the E-mini. Yeah, I think it would have kept working. So you can see how the E-mini moves with something like the Q or the NASDAQ. Still kind of sitting tight, waiting. I don't know. I don't know, Greg. I don't know about any of this stuff. I'm not going to comment on it either. Hey, thank you, B. With PPI news, are we expecting a bullish move today? I really don't know. Nobody does either. What we do today is all up in the air. All online poker is not a scam. It just depends. Like, some of it's legit. But of course, there have been conspiracies and stuff. All right, so we're shorting a little bit more in the NASDAQ. We just got out. Up to 50 roughly on the day. 8-to-1 win-loss ratio, though, so pretty good accuracy with my scalps. Have you ever considered trading on a longer time frame? It seems that you got a lot of trades going for under a minute. I mean, yeah, I trade on longer time frames, though. Like, it's not like I just scalp. You know what I mean? But, like, I just kind of stick to what works. You know, I trade trends as well, though. I trade short-term trends, long-term trends. I scalp, I invest, I swing trade. You know, we day trade. Like, we do a little bit of everything, to be honest. Hey, thanks, Jalen. Has anybody heard of Fame X? All right, so we're still dipping down a little bit. Google gold price right now. Okay, I can't keep telling you what gold price is, man. You know, it's 1967.70. right, so we're starting to dump down here, test lows. Maybe I should have stayed in that short. So China and U.S. agree to crack down on fentanyl trade, according to Financial Times. The judge also rejecting Binance U.S.'s and SEC's request for privacy in their legal case. Mark Andreessen, founder of Netscape, right? So if you guys remember Netscape, it was like the first browser company in the world. Again, if you want to know why some of these companies IPO prior to being profitable, you can thank Netscape. Prior to Netscape, which was in the 90s, it was right on the forefront of the internet. Browsers were actually like a paid service. Like you'd have to buy a browser in store, bring it home, and then install it on your computer, and then use that browser to do different things. But it cost money prior to it, and it was wildly successful. Netscape was one of the first big ones. It was wildly successful. And so, prior to Netscape, the standard of IPOs were that you wouldn't, like, companies usually didn't IPO on publicly until they were profitable. They had a certain level of profits, right? But Netscape rushed into it and said, nope, we're IPOing. And it was one of the most successful IPOs in history, made billions and billions and billions of dollars from it. It ultimately changed the standard of like when and how companies IPO. And you can thank Netscape for it. And Mark Andreessen, eventually the story behind that, and I've said this story on the stream a bunch, but I'll say it again because it's one of my favorite stories. What ultimately ended up happening was that, it was competitive with Microsoft. Like Netscape was competitive with Microsoft. It was kind of like the 90s version of Apple, Samsung, you know what I mean? Almost in a way regarding the internet, before smartphones, regarding the internet. And a lot of people were on team Netscape. And I think Microsoft went to Mark Andreessen and said, hey, we want to work with you. Like, we want to collaborate with you. Like, let's get in and do this thing together. And Netscape said, no way. We're not doing that. And then what happened after that, Microsoft said, okay, what we're going to start doing is we're going to start including our version of a browser called Internet Explorer in-house for free with Windows computers. And within a few years, Netscape was done. It eventually was acquired by America Online for only a couple million, and was done. That killed Netscape. Microsoft single-handedly killed Netscape in that way. And again, in the end, it was one of the bad decision moves by Netscape. They should have taken that deal. They should have worked with Microsoft and just kind of went in together with it. But instead, it is what it is. I can respect him wanting to do it himself. But anyways, Mark Andreessen saying on Twitter, seriously, WTF, is up with all the randos who are so quick to call for AI regulation. It's insane. It's like a weird mass psychology event like Salem witches or McCarthyism, where everyone's just going nuts. My response to him is, yeah, but this is what happens when everyone's favorite movie is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Like, this is what's going to happen when you get regulation like that is, you're going to get people fear AI, of course, because everybody doesn't want a Skynet situation. Hey, baby, how you doing? My wife Carol's here. Everybody say hi to Carol.
Morning. How's the market looking?
Market's looking really good. Market's had one of the biggest bull runs we've had all, in years. Really, the last 2 weeks have been one of the biggest bull runs we've had in years. Market went from this, where it's already a pretty good year. If you look at this top chart, guys, it's already a pretty good year prior to this latest bull run. But prior to it, the market had been in like a pullback over the last like 2.5 months, really since July. But we basically recouped all of that in a span of 2.5 weeks. And we're now approaching the high of the year, as well as the lifetime highs in markets. Inflation data came out today and yesterday that showed more optimism, better than expected inflation. But retail sales came in high, so that's making the market dip a little bit. But it's still up a lot over the last few days.
Yeah. Okay. Morning, everyone.
Yeah, they were making fun of me about the trash situation. Carol John didn't take the trash out. I did take the trash out. I just waited until CPI came out first. Honestly, but they took the trash, right? The trash ain't out there. Yeah, so job is done. Y'all can't say anything about it now.
Morning,
people need to watch The Matrix. Yeah, I mean, when people grow up on The Matrix and Terminator 2, of course they're going to fear artificial intelligence. Obviously. Everybody doesn't want a Skynet/Matrix situation.
Yeah, no way. That's what's kind of crazy about going into the future with AI and everything.
Yeah, but it's not sentient. Like, it's,
I don't know, man.
The biggest risks is that it replaces jobs. Maybe sometime in the future.
I think it will be at some point.
Well, sure. If it keeps going, sure. And I think that's why people want regulation. Yeah, poker. I hope poker expands here.
Morning, everyone.
John threw the trash over the neighbor's fence.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It might be my go-to move next time. Honestly, that might be my go-to next time. Yeah. Karen next door better watch out. But yeah, the market's up a lot. Yeah, it was a drama. Well, you called like CPI drops at 8:30. You called it like 8:27. And you were like, "Hey, baby, the trash isn't out." And so
I was leaving to take Maddie to school, and I realized, all of the trash cans are out, but ours. Granted, we kind of had a busy night last night with the kids and all of that, so yeah, I know that it kind of,
My blood pressure's been high. I don't know. It wasn't that. Like, my blood pressure, it was high. It was like 140 over 95. Which is pretty high. I did take an aspirin yesterday. But I'm in pretty good shape, so maybe my blood pressure just runs high. I think I'm naturally, high blood pressure. Watch Ex Machina. Yeah, I've seen it. It's super scary.
No, I need to set an alarm on your phone.
Yeah, I remembered yesterday. I usually get it, but we made it, so it's all good. Hey, bro, can you tell me the sales rate was positive or negative? So the sales rate came in at minus 0.1%. But it was negative, and it's one of the reasons the market reacted negatively, because while retail sales going down, while conventionally it's bad, lower is better. And it was expected to drop 0.3% month to month, but instead it dropped only 0.1%. And the reason we want retail sales to go down is because inflation's out of control. And if prices are high and consumers keep spending, businesses are going to keep raising prices. And so in that regard, with an inflation fearing market, we want retail sales to be lower. And so if it's expected to drop 0.3% and it only drops 0.1%, that's a negative outcome. And that is why the market has fallen down some, is because the market doesn't want to see higher retail sales because inflation's out of control. And that might mean businesses might continue to raise prices, is the nuance of it. But again, we're still really early. Yeah, I need some water. Will you give me some water? Actually, I was actually thirsty this morning. Yeah. Will you grab me some water? Thank you. Disney news. Well, Disney's been moving up for the last few days anyway. Oh, Disney's up more. I shouldn't have sold. I mean, I took profit. It was time though. I've been in Disney for months and months. They don't pay a divvy, you know, when we're up a lot, and you know, we're just gonna unload that, and I think that's okay. I'm okay. I don't have FOMO. I made enough the last few days for my portfolio to be okay with it and happy. Market's opening up in about 7.5 minutes. Some consolidation happening. I'll probably stop trading. We made a little bit of a cushion already today. All right, guys. So what we got? Yeah, JD, TJ Maxx. JD, TJ Maxx, Advanced Auto Parts. All right, guys, we got 5 minutes left. 5 minutes. Posting this on Twitter. One of the good things about my Twitter, guys, is that we post all the earnings reports every day during earnings season. We also post a lot of this economics reports. Go ahead and get this post a like, and also give our Twitter a follow if you haven't already. Let me check back on what people are saying. 140 over 95 is high, and you're young. Just lower your salt intake. Yeah, it's probably we've eaten PF Chang's every day now for like 3 days. Those ribs are just so good, bro. But yeah, I've been eating PF Chang's every freaking day. So I mean, I'm sure my salt intake's a little high. I mean, I exercise a lot. Again, I do jujitsu daily. Like I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu every day, which is like a very exhausting sport. But it's good for me because it's good exercise. So Carol forgot to bring me the water. Yeah, I ate the lettuce wraps. Those ribs are good. Yeah. All right, so we got a little bounce up. I do think we're in a bearish trend, though. The market opens up in about 3 minutes. All right, guys. Hey, we got 2.5 minutes. All right, so when did the market? Let me look back and check this. October 23rd. All right, so again, market started to bounce up a little bit. I don't trust it enough to short it yet. It looks sideways so far. So. All right, so we are bouncing back again. Like I said, my foot's off the gas, so luckily I stopped trading as much, and the last trade was green. We've had one loss today, day trading so far. So again, the big bearish peak happened October 23rd. I'm looking at one of these penny stock gurus that acted like the market was fine all along. All right, so we're starting to move up. All right, there's the opening bell. Big increase, honestly. Maybe a lag right now relative to pre-market. Big increase. Well, let's watch Nvidia too. There's the SPY all the way back up to 450s. I'm gonna let things cool down a little bit since the open. Nvidia falling quickly, probably on Burry, maybe. I don't know. Again, we're kind of sitting tight waiting. All right, so now we're dipping down again. Microchips are what's correcting down, but my equities portfolio is flying up right now. Walmart looks good. Home Depot, Honeywell, MGM, Netflix still green. Nike looks good. Again, microchips starting to dip. All right, so we're starting to finally dip down some. What's opposite correlations doing the same thing? Again, we're going to get ready to day trade. We waited for the first open. Watch Nvidia, though. Nvidia is the big one that you really want to watch. This is what could drag everything down quickly. You know, this is really what could drag everything else down quickly with it. Yeah, Walmart just been ramping up. Take a little bit off. Average price in Walmart's 156. We're at almost 170s. All right, there's Nvidia bouncing back up. SPY back over the 200 EMA volume weighted average price level. I can put the VWAP up. It's just to be honest, my little trick with this is that I actually use the SPY chart instead of the E-mini chart to look at the VWAP. So I look at the VWAP on the SPY, not the E-mini, and then trade the E-mini since it's the same thing essentially. Yeah, man. Sorry, I'm looking at some other stuff here. Apple up. What's Apple doing? I'm in Apple too. Whew, portfolio still looking great. AMC's even up a little bit today. I'm still down in it though. Citigroup. Take a little bit off of Citigroup now. All right, look at Nvidia dump here, guys. This is a big drop. I'm going to short this. All right, we're up 25 on the E-mini. Look at this dump in Nvidia. 30, 40. We'll add to this too, because Nvidia looks very weak. Short. Short. All right, so we're taking our swing with larger risks. Looks like risky. I'm kind of buying it right at the wrong spot here. So we're flat on the day. We could take our larger risk on the E-mini, but I was betting on Nvidia dumping down some. Let's give it time. If we lose, we're pretty much flat, which is not bad, but obviously we don't want to lose. Very close to cutting it now since we're approaching. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out. So we ended up down. Now we're down about $100. Again, though, we take a large risk. If we would have made money there, it would have been big money too. So again, it's all good. I don't trust Nvidia though, is the thing. See what Nvidia does. Nvidia break it back towards that previous closing price. Yeah, I've been using Nvidia to gauge it though. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's been. Nvidia is such a big influence over markets right now, and it has been all year. And so I've been watching, but I don't just watch Nvidia. Like I watch Nvidia, Tesla, you know, like a lot of different things to gauge it, especially the NASDAQ specifically. But the problem is the SPY's still looking good. See if it's finally time for a dip. We'll pivot. Oh, dude, I keep spilling coffee. We'll pivot to the NASDAQ is what I was going to say. Apple and Microsoft popping. Are they really? All right, so we're scalping a little bit more of the NASDAQ here. Just took a big chunk off. All right, so we just made some money in the NASDAQ shorting. Again, mostly from Nvidia's big weakness here. We're going to keep trying this if Nvidia keeps looking weak. Because again, I think Burry's short position is bad news for Nvidia too. All right, we just covered a little bit more. Scalping Nvidia right now. You're scalping the NASDAQ and futures using Nvidia as the trade though. All right, so again, we'll see what happens here. Choppiness now, flat action in markets. All right, scalping a little bit more. Show you guys this NASDAQ trade. Gonna go ahead and cut that at 235 gain on the last one here. So again, we are up $700 right now on the day, about a 4-to-1 win-loss ratio. Started attacking the NASDAQ, and again, what I did was, and this is how you can like get exposure to stocks with futures, right? Like I'm looking at futures trades, I'm looking at the NASDAQ, but I'm watching Nvidia crack lows. As Nvidia cracks lows, it starts to look incredibly weak. That's when I start to, you know, get more aggressive with my shorts, and I have to be very aggressive really quickly. Yeah, tomorrow we have jobless claims numbers out. And again, if you want exposure to day trading stocks, try the futures market. Again, I'm able to look at Nvidia, watch the Q, which is basically the NASDAQ, and then day trade the NASDAQ or the E-mini using futures. No PDT in futures. I can day trade as much as I want, buy market, sell market, all that good stuff, just like stocks, but there's no PDT rule. I can't trade individual stocks, but I can gain exposure to the index funds like the NASDAQ, which the Q is very tech heavy. So the NQ is very tech heavy. So when Nvidia, one of the biggest tech stocks right now, starts to dump, I can jump on that weakness and short it. And that's how I'm up, this much in this on the day. And again, the way I do it is I build up a cushion first, a small cushion, and then I take larger risks, right? So the most I was ever down today, even though I'm up 700, the most I was ever down was $170, although I'm up 700, and so that's how I'm able to kind of rinse, repeat, and make these type of gains without taking crazy big risks doing it. And so that's how you get funded in these accounts as well. A funded account program, again, what they do is they give you a demo, they test your skill. If you can hit the target without hitting the max loss and while following the rest of their rules, they fund you between 50,000 up to 150K with a 90% split, pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year, fund thousands and thousands of traders a year. All right, we're scalping a little bit more. Again, sorry to interrupt my plug, but we just made a little bit more. Again, we are now up 800 on the day, basically. But again, if you want to check it out, great way to learn how to trade. If you don't have that much equity, but you're a good day trader, it might be a good option as well. But they are a sponsor of mine, of course. I'm definitely biased, but you can check them out here. Again, kind of flat right now, but we've mostly been shorting. All right, so rejecting at that VWAP level in the futures market. Watch the SPY, watch Apple here. It's really an interesting day because my portfolio is up a lot, even though we're kind of red since the open. I'm trying to see why. Oh, it's Target. Okay, that's what it is. All right, we're going to take a little bit more off of Target then, because it's basically at 130s right now. I'll go ahead and cut that trade altogether. I think I'm happy with that trade. Lock in that profit while we can. Well, it's from a lot of different things, to be honest. Tesla, Walgreens, Walmart, Etsy is up a lot today. Apple's up. Honeywell is up a lot. Home Depot's been up a lot the last few days. Google's up. So it's a lot of different reasons. Nike, we're green on all these. Oracle was red on the day, but we're still green on the trade. PPI came out at 8:30, so it came out like an hour and 15 minutes ago. Nvidia is still falling all the way down to 490s. And that's what's dragging the market down. And again, this is why we look at Nvidia to gauge it, because it's a big gauge of it for sure. So we're bounce it up a little bit. I'm going to short this a little bit more here too. This is the regular E-mini though. Oh my gosh, I took 3 contracts. I did not want 3. Rookie mistake here. I guess I'll add 4 to make it even and then cut too quickly if it can't break down. Hopefully it goes in my favor, but not really something I'm happy about here. I didn't mean to take this big a size. Yeah, frustrating. I'll give it one more second, but not really happy about this. Probably let the mistake go on too long. Ah, what a frustrating mistake. I mean, we're still up 500 on the day, but boo, you know. I'm dumb. That was my dumb mistake here, team. And it's all good, but man, frustrating nonetheless. All right, so we're moving up a little bit on Nvidia, but that's the real story, is like, what does Nvidia do right here? Does Nvidia break down? Does it keep going up? Nobody really knows. That's what everybody's kind of playing with right now. Nvidia retracing back down a little bit, but still falling some. Nvidia moving down to test lows. Will it? Retracing back up a little bit. Huge bounce back up and then a quick retracement back down. Very volatile market here, guys. All right, so we've scalped our way back in the NASDAQ to where we're up over that now. We're up more than we were. We're up 822 on the day. Again, my equity portfolio is still grinding up. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's Etsy. It's just an accumulation of a lot of different things. Honeywell, Etsy. I might unload a little bit of Honeywell because I don't trust it that much. There we go. Just limit my risk a little bit in that. Still green on it, but all right, big breakdown. Should have stayed in my short. Yeah, it's all good. I ended up making it back. Luckily, I have the cushion that I can play with it a little bit more. So it's all good. I don't think we have any big earnings this week, no. In the evening, I mean. Cisco this evening, but I'm not going to stream that. Alibaba tomorrow morning with jobless claims. We are going to be doing a crypto show today. Yeah, markets flushed it down. Again, look at Nvidia flush. This is why you got to watch Nvidia and watch how it influences the rest of the market. Again, I told you guys it was probably time for a pullback this morning. And again, that's very true. Things aren't going to go up forever. You know what I mean? Again, we're still very green on my equities portfolio today, though. Look at this. Mostly from Target. But we're up 335 in equities today, even with this dip. Again, watch Nvidia. SPY's still basically at 450s. So it's not like, you know, it's not like it's just the end of the world right now, but definitely starting to finally get some bearish responses to this stuff. We're hitting that bottom trend line on the E-mini. Let's see if we bounce there. It's a fun PPI stream, though, for sure. Yeah, look at that bottom like range. Sorry, let me mute Cam. All right, so we did finally get a pop back up. Nvidia, let's watch it. It's at 488. It's not going to go down forever, but it's also up a lot. And I told you guys the vulnerabilities. All right. All right. So again, we're going to be doing a crypto show today. Before I leave, again, we are up a cool 800 and whatever this is right now in futures today. Second day in a row we've had over $800 in profit, $824, 3-to-1 win-loss ratio, keeping it pretty nice right there. And again, the way I build up these cushions in these funded programs is I build up a demo, or I build up a cushion. If I can hit the target on the cushion, or I build up a cushion. If I can do that, once I have that cushion, I take larger size. You know, so the base combine, what they do is they give you a demo and they test your skill. If you can hit the target on the demo without hitting the max loss, they fund you, basically, right? So the job is to be able to hit a certain profit target without hitting a max loss. And so in that regard, you got to keep your losses small keep your winners large. And the way you do that is you build up a cushion just like I did today. Once you have that cushion, you take larger risks, right? You can see the most I was ever down was $170 today. I ended up making over 800. And so again, you build up a small cushion. Once you have that cushion, you can scale up your size. That way, if you lose, once you scale up, you're right back down to break even. Or maybe a small loss or whatever it is. And if you're not able to build up a cushion and you lose a couple $100, you just walk away. That way you can have big wins, small losses. And again, these funded account programs are great ways to test your skill. The base one on Top Step's only $49. Very cheap. Great way to learn how to trade. Great way to test your skill. If you're good enough to pass it, you can get a 90% split. They got free funding coaches. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year to their funded traders. If you're not good enough to pass it, you're still probably going to lose less than you would putting up thousands yourself trying to day trade stocks. Or futures yourself, to be honest. And so again, if you want to check it out, great way to help support your boy here in this channel. Here's the link. I appreciate the love, guys. I don't do mentorships one-on-one. I'm not an investment professional, Jay-Z. I'm not a day trading guru. I don't want to be one. I just kind of put out free content and economic reports whenever I can. Don't really want to be a day trading guru, brother. Hope you understand. I just don't have the time for that. And again, that's not really what my channel's about here, bro. I have a lot of people reach out to me, want to pay me to be like their mentor. And again, I'm just not really about that. I'm not claiming to be super profitable, great trader, anything like that. I'd like to just be real and just give out free information. That's it. I appreciate the love, though. Thanks for the vote of confidence, man. But again, I'll see you guys later. We're going to start our crypto show right now. We got a crypto show we're doing live today as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys over there. Again, as soon as we close this stream, it should immediately bring you to the crypto stream. If for whatever reason it does not, I will put the link up in chat so you can check it out. Yeah, for whatever reason it does not bring you to the new crypto stream, here is the link. We're going to be talking about a lot of good stuff in crypto, guys. So check it out. Here's the link. And yeah, I appreciate the love, guys. I'll see you guys over there.